We all, at some point, feel as if life is slipping out of our control. Whether due to a lost job, a broken relationship, or simply the chaos of daily routines, these moments can make us feel powerless and overwhelmed. But what if I told you there is a way not only to withstand these obstacles, but also to thrive in the face of them? Today we're going to delve into the teachings of Seneca, an ancient philosopher who mastered the art of maintaining serenity in a hectic world. His advice on Stoicism is not mere reflection, it is practical tactics that have guided leaders, thinkers, and people over the centuries, and can empower us today. By the end of this video, you will have a set of Stoic guidelines to help you develop mental fortitude and regain control over your feelings and reactions, no matter what life throws your way. Stay with me, and let's uncover how these age-old secrets can be adapted to contemporary life for more peaceful and balanced living. If you value what we're building here and want to support the channel, a simple free gesture I ask is for you to click the subscribe button. This allows us to continue producing valuable content for you. Moreover, I encourage you to watch every part of the video. If you're here, you're not like most. You're someone who values deep exploration, so consider yourself an exception. Seneca's wisdom, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere," highlights an essential principle often forgotten in our modern rush to do more and be more. The idea of focusing on one activity at a time is central to Stoic philosophy and can revolutionize how we handle our daily tasks. In a world that glorifies the myth of multitasking, we need to pause and reassess the effectiveness of this strategy. When we try to perform multiple tasks simultaneously, we're diluting our attention, which can result in more errors and diminished work quality. Marcus Aurelius, another esteemed Stoic philosopher, reinforced this thought by advising, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what is in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, with kindness, with goodwill, with justice, and freeing yourself from all other distractions." This focus is not just about increasing productivity, it's about cultivating a quality of mind that prioritizes depth over breadth. Focusing on one activity at a time allows us to fully immerse ourselves in the task at hand, whether it's professional work, a personal project, or a meaningful conversation. This type of intense work promotes a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Plato might argue that this singular focus helps us achieve a higher form of beauty and truth in our work, as it allows us to dedicate our best effort and create something that resonates with ideals of goodness and excellence. Furthermore, the psychological benefits of concentrating on one task at a time are significant. It reduces the cognitive load on our brains, minimizing stress and enhancing our decision-making capabilities. Aristotle, who valued the development of virtues through habitual right action, would likely support this practice as a way to develop the virtue of temperance or self-control, helping us regulate our desire for distraction and immediate gratification. By practicing this focused approach, we not only follow in the footsteps of the Stoic philosophers, but also align ourselves with modern psychology teachings, which suggest that our brains are not equipped to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. The quality of our work and life improves when we dedicate our full attention to one thing at a time. Socrates' method of deep investigation and dialogue, focusing intensely on one subject to the exclusion of all others, exemplifies how powerful this method can be. Adopting this Stoic principle not only makes us more effective, it transforms us into more contemplative, serene, and balanced beings. It is a detachment from the tumult of modern multitasking and an embrace of a more thoughtful and intentional lifestyle. By exercising this, we may find that not only do our results improve, but our overall well-being also elevates. Seneca's insight that all great torments arise from a mind uncontrolled unveils a profound truth about the human condition. Our unbridled desires can be the source of great emotional turmoil and distress. Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of self-control and logical reasoning, offers a framework for facing this challenge. Rather than repressing our emotions, which is harmful and unsustainable, Stoicism guides us to understand and manage them. The process of managing our impulses begins with self-awareness. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, proclaimed, "No man is free if he cannot control himself." This statement underscores the essential nature of self-mastery for achieving true freedom and happiness. By becoming more aware of our impulses and the stimuli that trigger them, we are better equipped to handle them rationally. This does not mean denying our feelings, but understanding them sufficiently so that we can react in ways that align with our long-term goals and values. In the realm of philosophy, Aristotle also discussed the importance of moderating our impulses through the development of virtues. He believed that virtue lies in finding a balance between excess and deficiency, a concept known as the mean. For example, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Applying this to impulse control, we seek a balance between spontaneous reactions and complete inertia, aiming for thoughtful and deliberate responses that reflect our best self. Moreover, practicing philosophy as a guide for controlling our impulses involves cultivating rational thinking as a habit. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often pondered the importance of aligning thoughts with rational and virtuous principles. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This perspective encourages us to focus on our internal responses rather than external provocations, thus gaining greater control over our impulses. By critically examining our impulses with the aid of philosophical wisdom, we can begin to make choices that are not dictated by fleeting emotions, but are the result of careful thought and reflection. This practice not only strengthens our mental fortitude, but also helps us live more harmoniously with our values. It leads to a life where decisions are made not in the heat of the moment, but with a clear and serene mind. The Stoic approach to impulse control is about cultivating an internal dialogue that constantly questions and evaluates our instinctive reactions. It's about making philosophy not just a subject of study, but a way of living our lives, allowing us to transcend immediate gratifications and achieve a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose. This disciplined approach to managing impulses is not just about avoiding emotional pain, it's about forging a path to a more thoughtful and rewarding life. Seneca, always focused on preparation, strikingly proclaimed, "Visualize in your minds exile, torture, war, shipwreck. All conditions of our human fortune must be before our eyes." This advice may seem overly dramatic at first glance. After all, many of us do not face stormy seas or battlefields. However, what Seneca truly highlights here is the idea of mentally preparing for the inevitable challenges of life, a cornerstone of Stoic resilience. Stoicism guides us to anticipate and mentally simulate the worst-case scenario, not to torment ourselves with fear, but to mitigate the impact and suffering when adversities arise. This technique is known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It involves imagining the most difficult scenarios, not to consume ourselves with worries, but to be emotionally and mentally prepared when life presents us with its challenges. Consider it this way. Athletes train under adverse conditions to prepare themselves for the stress of real competitions. Similarly, by mentally simulating challenging situations, we strengthen our minds to face stress and adversity with less dread and more control. This Stoic practice allows us to appreciate our current state by recognizing how much worse things could be. Our daily problems seem less overwhelming. Adopting this Stoic approach does not mean living in constant anxiety about potential setbacks. Rather, it is about having a realistic understanding of possible negative outcomes. For example, if you are worried about job stability, instead of getting lost in a whirlwind of fear, you can begin preparing by updating your resume, enhancing your skills, or even exploring alternative career paths. Thus, if the worst occurs, you will not be caught off guard and will be in a better position to tackle the situation. Moreover, this principle extends beyond personal crises. It's about maintaining a level of readiness for any significant changes in our lives, from financial instabilities to personal losses. By staying prepared, we not only shield ourselves from the initial shock, but also speed up our recovery and adaptation periods. We become less reactive and more proactive, a subtle yet powerful shift in the way we handle life's uncertainties. Seneca's advice empowers us to develop a mindset where we are not overwhelmed by adversity, but fortified against it. This mental readiness is not about expecting the worst, but about being prepared to face any situation, thereby increasing our resilience and overall mental robustness. Through this Stoic perspective, we perceive not only the potential for loss or difficulty, but also the opportunity for growth and renewal in every challenge. Another profound reflection from Seneca is that difficulties strengthen the mind, just as work strengthens the body. This idea is central to Stoicism and speaks to a practice that may initially seem counterintuitive, voluntarily embracing difficulties. It is about deliberately choosing to experience discomfort, not as a form of punishment, but as a means to strengthen our mental resilience and expand our capacity to face life's inevitable challenges. Think about what it means to voluntarily embrace difficulties. It is like an athlete who trains under adverse conditions to prepare for a competition. The athlete understands that by pushing boundaries in a controlled environment, they are better prepared for the stresses of the actual event. Similarly, by choosing to confront difficulties head-on, whether by taking on a challenging project at work, speaking in public, or even opting to live more simply, we increase our mental resilience and adaptability. Seneca's guidance reveals that by purposefully venturing beyond our comfort zones, we are not just testing our boundaries, we are expanding them. For example, if you are fearful of speaking before an audience, repeatedly putting yourself in situations that require speeches can transform your fear into competence over time. What was once seen as insurmountable becomes manageable and eventually comfortable. This Stoic practice is not about seeking suffering per se, but about recognizing that growth often emerges from discomfort. Embracing voluntary challenges also means redefining our comfort limits. In a world that often values convenience and ease, choosing the harder path may seem radical, but Stoicism invites us to rethink what comfort truly is. Is it merely the absence of discomfort, or is it the presence of inner strength and tranquility that comes from knowing we can face any adversity that challenges us? By incorporating this Stoic principle into our lives, we also learn to appreciate our current conditions more. When we know we can endure less, we can enjoy the simple joys of life with greater satisfaction. It's about building an existence not on the evasion of difficulties, but on the foundation of resilience. This doesn't mean we seek suffering, but when it arises, we face it as an opportunity to exercise our Stoic skills. By embracing voluntary challenges, we also cultivate a profound sense of self-efficacy. We demonstrate to ourselves that we are capable of overcoming obstacles, which in turn builds self-confidence. Every challenge we face and overcome is a reminder that we are stronger than we imagined. So let's follow Seneca's example and challenge ourselves to step into the arena of voluntary difficulties. It's there that we will find not only challenges, but the keys to a more resilient and enriching life. Seneca wisely pointed out, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This statement is a clear reminder that our interpretation of events, rather than the events themselves, often causes our greatest suffering. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we are victims of our circumstances, which can lead to a mindset that everything happens to us rather than happening for us or with us. Stoicism teaches us the importance of perception. How we choose to see and interpret life's challenges significantly impacts our experience of them. If we see ourselves as passive victims, we surrender our power and autonomy. However, if we view challenges as opportunities for growth and learning, we retain control over our responses and are more likely to approach life proactively. Consider a common scenario. Perhaps you didn't get a promotion at work, and your initial reaction is to feel overlooked or wronged. While these feelings are valid, Stoicism invites us to critically examine our reactions. Are we perhaps viewing the situation solely through a lens of loss and injustice? What if, instead, we saw this as an opportunity to seek feedback, improve our skills, or even reevaluate our career path to find a better fit for our aspirations? Avoiding victimization does not mean ignoring the injustices or difficulties we face. Rather, it means shifting our focus from what happens to us to how we respond to what happens. This shift is powerful. It moves us from a place of passive reaction to active participation in our lives. We stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this situation?" Stoicism provides us with the resources to detach from our impulsive emotional reactions and see the situation as a whole. It's about understanding that while we may not always control external events, we have the power to control our perceptions and responses. This mental transformation is liberating and empowering. It allows us to live with a sense of purpose and tenacity, making us more adept at facing future adversities. Moreover, adopting this Stoic principle enriches our interpersonal relationships. By refusing to assume the role of perpetual victims, we cultivate healthier relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than blame and resentment. We become more empathetic by recognizing that just as we are responsible for our own happiness, others are responsible for their emotional states as well. By embracing the Stoic path, we free ourselves from the shackles of victimization. We take control of our own story, recognizing that we are the architects of our reality. This empowerment is the essence of Stoicism and the key to a fulfilling and proactive life. So let's choose to rise above victimization, not by denying our pain, but by rewriting our stories with strength, wisdom, and resilience. Seneca's advice to withdraw into yourself as much as possible emphasizes the value of introspection in Stoic philosophy. This guidance is not an encouragement to isolate oneself, but rather an invitation to engage in deep self-reflection. In our interconnected and fast-paced world, the noise of everyday life can drown out our inner voice and hinder our ability to reflect on our personal growth and values. Stoicism teaches us that true solitude is a state of intense self-awareness and not merely a physical state of being alone. The benefits of dedicating time to solitude are profound and have been echoed by philosophers throughout history. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, often wrote about the importance of introspection in his personal writings. He believed that understanding oneself is essential to living a life of virtue and purpose. He stated, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This highlights the idea that solitude offers a sanctuary where we can escape the demands of the external world and focus on personal development. Moreover, the practice of solitude allows us to explore our thoughts and emotions without interruptions. It provides us with the necessary space to process our experiences and align our actions with our principles. By regularly engaging in this practice, we cultivate a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly desire from life. This alignment is crucial for living authentically and achieving personal fulfillment. Aristotle also emphasized the importance of self-reflection for achieving eudaimonia, or flourishing. He believed that self-knowledge was essential for developing virtues and living according to reason. In solitude, we can critically assess our lives and make adjustments that reflect our true values and aspirations. The Stoic practice of solitude also encourages us to develop resilience. Epictetus emphasized the need for personal reflection to strengthen the mind against adversities. He advised individuals to use solitude as a tool to fortify their character and mental resilience, preparing them for life's inevitable challenges. He stated, "It is in your power to withdraw whenever you desire. Perfect tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm of your own." Additionally, spending time alone helps us to appreciate our relationships and social interactions more. When we return from periods of solitude, we often find that we have more to offer others, whether in terms of greater empathy, patience, or clarity. This not only enriches our personal relationships, but also enhances our contributions to our communities. The Stoic practice of seeking solitude is not about escaping life, but about deepening our engagement with it. By retreating into ourselves, we gain the clarity needed to act more thoughtfully in the world. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus offer us a guide to use solitude not as an escape from life, but as a tool to live it more fully and meaningfully. As we conclude our discussion today, it is clear that the teachings of Stoicism are not merely abstract theories confined to ancient writings. They provide concrete strategies that can be implemented in our daily lives, empowering us to lead more reflective, resilient, and purposeful lives. Stoicism reveals to us the value of focus, the power of self-control, the relevance of preparation, the strength found in facing adversity, the freedom that comes from avoiding victimization, and the clarity that solitude can provide. Each of these principles challenges us to look within and refine our character to face our lives with honesty and courage. Remember, Stoicism does not promise a life without difficulties. Rather, it equips us with the tools to deal with life's challenges more effectively. It encourages us to face each obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtue and each setback as a chance to test our mettle. By adopting these Stoic practices, we are not merely surviving, we are thriving, cultivating a life of peace and fulfillment from within. In the spirit of Stoicism, let us continue to explore how we can apply this ancient wisdom to navigate the complexities of contemporary life. Let us strive to be better than we were yesterday, to live with intention and virtue. If you are interested in continuing this journey, check out one of the videos on your screen now. They were created to help you delve deeper into the practical applications of Stoicism in everyday life. We are grateful for your curiosity and your willingness to grow alongside us. Remember, the path to wisdom is long and arduous, but every step you take is a step towards a more meaningful life. So, keep walking with courage.